new generation all about, oh, if there's a shortcut.
What do you mean? No. What do you mean? I've been doing this since I was like a teenager. It's nothing but shortcuts.
All people see is the overnight success.
That's because they're blinded. There's no obstacle. You just have to die.
That's what I love about that song by Dre, because he's like, hey, but it could mean you're still on the bottom. Very good.
That's where my age deceives me. It's just like, whoa, right over my head, Sonny. That was fantastic. That's what he did. All you kids in your butt eating.
Thyroids are
Good
full,
Lord.
please.
Let me tell you about my butt. I have found.
Byrne, please. I really don't want to go into butt yoga right now. Like it's been a lot for me personally.
Welcome to another episode of The Midnight Puff. I'm your host, Manny Cookie Strickland, aka Puff Poppy, and as you see, I'm now wearing the purple suit. A lot of people complained that I didn't wear it, and the top hat that's on the other side of the bus. We'll get to that in a minute. So I am joined by a lovely, almost our first touring band, and I'm here with the lovely
Megan Jean.
You just in unison.
Oh, Megan Jean and the
Megan Jean
KFB.
and the KFB.
All right, one more time.
Megan Jean and the KFB.
Cool, that's y'all's take. This is my take.
Yeah.
No, we gotta say it together.
All right.
Okay.
Megan Jean and the KFB.
You
All right,
didn't remember our name.
I hear KGB. One more time.
A lot of people do.
People call us a lot of things.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, it's hard to keep track of.
It's Megan Jean and the KFB, or Klay Family Band.
Or Megan and Byrne.
Or Megan and Byrne.
Megan and Byrne, members of the
Klay Family
and the
Band.
Klay Family Band. Oh yeah.
Good, that was perfect.
It is a
take.
Nailed it.
It is a pathless land we're on right now.
So, it's crazy that you guys are back in Chattanooga. I know y'all come, let's say just once a year.
Yeah.
And it's cool that we got to grab you for a chance to, bring you on this crazy cannabis field show to talk about what y'all do and to introduce our fan base to some more awesome music to listen to while they're smoking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let's just rip the Band-Aid off. What genre of music would y'all say y'all are?
We just play for people,
Yeah, we just play for people. I suppose we play sort of like, it's been classified as Americana, I guess, but we don't really think, like, it's too different from just songwriting. It's just we're songwriters,
You're songwriters?
Mm-hmm. 2, 3, 4.
I just gotta get to the good fight, alright. Just gotta get myself right. Sun goes supernova on a black sky, oh my. Just gotta get my piece of the pie. Robota, oh, remote control. Robota, hey, we could be happy people. Oh, robota, oh, remote control. Robota, hey, we could be happy people. Oh, yeah, we could be happy people. Oh, hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey. Hey, hey. I just gotta get me a new life, no strife. Just gotta get my mind right. Sun is coming back again, oh, anytime, anytime. Just gotta get my place in the sky. Robota, oh, remote control. Robota, hey, we could be happy people. Oh, robota, oh, remote control. Robota, hey, we could be happy people. Oh, yeah, we could be happy people. Oh, hey, hey. Yeah, did you know? Yeah, we
All right, so you say Americano. I have
Americano is coffee, but Americana is a type of American crafts music or like crafts movement or music. But Americana, the Americana Music Association is a thing, but it's not Americano because that's coffee.
So the flavor of music that I like to listen to.
We're just like adjacent to a lot of music all the time. So
what's the first time I'm hearing that genre?
Plus, we're like really pretentious, so we can't just say a genre like that.
Well, it's hard, no, because it's when you say a genre, that's a marketing device ultimately, and so it's hard because we found that we've done better.
Pop
as
music
people.
that's not popular.
Yeah, we've done better just playing music
Some
for
pop
people.
acoustic.
We set up, we do our little hey, and people look at it and they go, hey, I really like that band.
Americana music genre. Why do they call it that?
Because it's American.
Probably because it wasn't taken and they needed a brand.
This is an American acoustic. I'm breaking it down in my head.
No, Americana just means like all things sort of like American. So technically blues is Americana and jazz is Americana and country is Americana and bluegrass
You leave my
is
jazz
Americana.
and blues alone.
Well, it all falls under the umbrella of Americana now. It's a marketing term is what I mean to say.
Okay.
So
American music.
yeah, it's American music.
And who would be the listeners of this genre?
Everybody, man.
There's like a lot of. I mean, it's a good cross section.
If you go to Japan, you go to there's like more American music that people are collecting over there that you and I've never even heard of.
Right.
And it's just because there's a lot of music in America, and Megan and I are people who we grew up in America and we've moved around America a whole lot, and so
Yeah.
we have a very complex view of ourselves
And that
and our
translates good
relationship to the culture in this country, because we feel very much a part of it constantly, but we also we just keep moving, so it just keeps changing, and we're around all different kinds of people.
So would you say for the artists that are listening and watching this that exposing yourself to different genres of music actually does raise the quality of your own?
Exposing
so.
yourself to people.
Yeah.
Because listen, it's like when you have some sort of talent that you can get up and like people will gravitate towards, if you want to use it in a healthy way for yourself
Like
at
not
the very
in a
least,
cult
and
leader
for
way.
others, man, you got to just put it out there and have a conversation with the people.
But some people only want the positive conversation. They don't want the feedback.
That's why you got to know yourself.
Yeah, you gotta know yourself.
So if you know yourself
Yeah,
and
you know
you go
yourself.
out there, all right, people tell me
yeah.
my music stuff. I know my music is amazing.
Well, you have to learn the difference between a put down and constructive criticism, and that's very important because constructive criticism tends to come from people that you respect and whose opinion you actually value. And so if someone who you respect gives you some advice or some feedback, you've got to be humble enough to listen to that as someone that if they didn't want to see you do well, they might not say anything at all. And then there's just a put down. And that's stuff that you just kind of let go in one ear and out the other because it doesn't come from a place of helping or compassion or kindness. And you have to learn the difference, between what is
if a
constructive
fan tried to
criticism.
give you constructive criticism, what would you do with it?
It depends on whether I respect what they're
Depends on what it
saying
is.
or not.
If
it's a
honestly,
random person that-
I've had people tell me stuff and I go, that's an interesting idea. Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
and then I've
know?
had people. I mean, people give you really bad advice. People give you actually really good advice. People give you advice sometimes that seems bad at first,
Oh,
and
wait,
then
wait, wait.
becomes very useful.
What about that woman in
The idiot
Portland
savant.
Manor, New York?
Absolutely, we met an idiot savant very early on in our touring career, and she just was like, "What if you played any kind of music and for every situation, and your band setup was whatever was most appropriate for that situation, and you could just be like, you could fill a metal band niche one day or an acoustic act the next day." And at first I was like, and she would say stuff like, "Have you ever thought about filming your music and putting it on YouTube?" And I'd be like, "No, I've never done that."
That's just saying.
But no, but
She was dropping
serious knowledge, and she was right. And I find myself constantly moving, and sometimes we're totally acoustic duo, and sometimes we're at a full drum kit and through a big guitar system, and it's just funny how that has played out. And I think of it a lot.
We've been to music conferences. Because the music industry is full of gamblers who are just betting on horses.
We're just the little
We're just
doggies
little
at the
ponies,
track.
right?
Yeah.
Bet on them.
So some people have bet on us here and there, and
So
some
you
people
gamble
have done
on
whatever.
a gamble.
But
You gamble on someone gambling on you.
Yeah, but they hanging out at the track and whatever.
We're
We've
just
been
the
fortunate
doggies.
to attract very kind, good-hearted people, and so we got a little taste of that, and we're like, geez, this is just this is ridiculous. We you know, when you go to a conference, the environment is, you know, look at what I'm doing, look at what I'm doing, look at what I'm doing. And we tried that, and we just didn't enjoy it, you know?
They were definitely like, you're too loud and you're not.
Oh yeah, we kept getting told we were
you're
too
not
loud.
Americana.
And so that was a problem. And it just felt, it was just like, it wasn't.
not like how
Have you
loud
ever
I
thought
was.
of performing at brunches?
We've done that.
We do that.
Yeah,
But that's
we've
the
done
thing.
that.
We do that stuff all
We
the
do
time.
all the stuff. All the
But
stuff.
when people are competing with you and your voice just happens to be really loud, like Megan's voice is loud, man.
What else?
It's
If you're
so
competing with
loud.
other people, why not be the loudest person in the room?
Well,
That- I
that's
mean,
the thing. Because
But I think that's what makes people mad. If I'm
it
being
makes people
honest.
mad. But then it becomes an
How dare you
unnecessary.
project?
No, it's terrible because
Well,
then
and
what
I-
happens? It
I
becomes
don't
an
hurt my voice. That's the other
unnecessary
thing, too.
projection.
That's the other thing too. And
It's just
also
a bad
like when you're
thing.
there's just certain stuff about the music industry that's really funny to me. Like when people tell me to, and people have told me to lose weight. And the thing is my voice is the result of excess weight. These people don't understand how the human voice and hormones work. And so it's like, I can lose weight, but my voice will be completely different. And like, why are you talking to me if not for what I can do as an artist? You know, so it's a really bizarre thing. And that's definitely happened to me before. And they're like, make it more commercial. And it's like, I mean, I can, but then the thing that drew you to me in the first place changes. So you know when the fat lady sings, right?
Mm-hmm.
That expression. Well, that's because opera singers were like fat women. And I use the word fat as an adjective. I'm really tired of it as always just a put down. Like, I really just am tired of that. Like, take the power away from the word, just use it, whatever. It's just a descriptor. So that I'd like to just say first off sometimes when I use that word, because I don't like people to feel alienated by my use of that word. So opera singers were fat ladies. And part of it is because fat cells produce estrogen. And the ovaries respond by producing more testosterone. So if you go through puberty and you have excess fat, your ovaries release a bunch of excess testosterone and you get secondary sex characteristics like a female Adam's apple, which is the result of something called PCOS in some women, polycystic ovarian syndrome.
Being educated.
Well, I mean, this is a big part of singing. Human bodies aren't as cut and dry. And there's, I mean, Freakonomics being what it is, like excess fat developed really strong, thick, big voices in female bodies. And that's why operatic tradition would select for fat women specifically, because
women can sing higher.
Women can sing
and
higher
louder.
and lower. And if they have an extra resonating chamber in a female Adam's apple like I have, which is why my voice is so thick, which is the result of polycystic ovarian syndrome and the process that I just described to you, that actually has become a superpower to me. And so something that earned me the nickname he, she in middle school, something that got me put down over and over and over again in my life, my size, is actually responsible for the thing that has
Give birth to your talent.
that has made me who I am as a person. And
you wouldn't change for none.
no, I can't, you know, it's just, I don't want to. And so I think that it's important for people to just own who they are as they are, because you never know what the silver linings of that of what it is. And so you got to look for silver linings. You got to look for the, you know, you don't always have to look for the positive in things. Sometimes you really do have to look at the bad things and
First
decide
of
not
all,
to.
don't harp on my style. I'm like, all right, this thing is bad. Let me find something good to alleviate the stress I'm getting from this.
You know what? There's nothing wrong with positivity. It's like, it's just seeing the world as it is more important, I think, for artists, rather than projecting how you'd like things to be on top of how things are.
But if we saw the reality, we would never want to do so.
I disagree. We see the reality and we want to do something about it. Some people want to go like this, but it's the allegory of the cave. It's Plato,
Yep.
man. It's you see the shadows, you've been outside, you know, are you still watching the shadows or have you been outside?
Well, because the reality is there's no separation
Traveling-
between
Or
us
people
and-
feel like they've seen the world, why they have to go outside.
Exactly. Well, the thing is that, you know, it's like once you've been outside, your eyes have adjusted to the light and you can't really go back to the cave. So as far as being an artist, you know, the past 12 years of my life and his life, we've been making a living as artists on our own time and our own schedule. And that's like exiting the cave. You can't ever really go back in there. It's too dark, you
And we
know?
did it
So
by-
you feel like it began at 12 years.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
about when we started doing like professionally.
That sort of thing, yeah. I mean, like, we have both
And that
been playing
galvanizes
music.
you, you know?
Yeah,
My generation, they want immediately like to get a return back.
Hey, some
Oh,
of them
no,
do.
no.
It happens sometimes though, and it's hard for these kids. They're out there. They'll be like, oh, they've heard their whole lives it's 10 years to overnight success, and then this kid Lil Nas X comes up and he's like, "This is the first song I ever wrote," and it's like the longest
Marketing
running.
genius.
No, the kid he made a lot of
marketing
observations and he got really astronomically lucky. But I'm proud of the kid. Like
I mean, good for him for that. But
He partnered with Wrangler for $135 jeans.
I mean, yeah.
Listen,
I mean,
but the fact is,
And people were buying them. And I'm like,
I mean, but he had a vision for himself, and that's it. There's a time and a place, you know. I'm an artist that has played 3,000 shows and has written a lot more songs than one, and I have never experienced that kind of success, and I probably won't. However, I can really appreciate that for the kid. It's a fairy tale, and it's actually a double-edged sword. You start off on the top. It's really hard to go anywhere from there. I started at the bottom.
One-hit wonder.
Now I'm here. Started at the bottom. Now the whole team's still here. Started at the bottom.
Drake. All right,
We're still here. That's what I love about that song by Drake, because he's like, hey, but it could mean you're still on the bottom.
The thing is, like, no matter how successful you are in life, like you're the one who has to live your own life. Nobody else is going to do it for you.
Right.
And so, for most people, you're going to be following a very crooked stream until the day you die.
Absolutely.
And so
everything you do is under a fine pick comb. They're trying to find some reason to bring you down. You're like, all right.
Yeah. Well, they have to
Imposter
make
syndrome.
you. They have. The thing is, when you work with the industry, it's like they have to be the thing that makes you. If you're someone that is capable of making your art yourself and producing your art yourself and keeping yourself going, it's really, there's not much they can do with you, you know? So it's tough. Like, some people can really make the music industry work for them, and I applaud them. It's really cool. Like, I don't make old white guys with money feel good about themselves. And that's really what it comes down to. Either you're giving them a hard on, or you make them feel like a good person, or you remind them of themselves when they were 25. They're the ones with the money, and it's a bad investment, and you can't tell a voluntary bad investment by someone who's already retired that they have to invest their money differently. So if you want parity within the music industry for people of color and women and trans people and gay people, you have to build something adjacent to it. You can't do it within the existed power structures. You have to do it adjacent to it, because you can't tell people making a voluntary bad investment that they have to do it differently. You have to be the person who invests in yourself continually, all the time, and intensely, you know? And that's my advice for up and coming musicians, is just...
I was already going to ask them, like, what?
Right.
No, y'all been in the game 12 years.
the thing is, what they'd say about, I mean, when you're a musician, if you're an artist, that you live outside of hierarchy.
And manage your expectations.
Because
please.
you wander around, and if you find people who like what you do, if something about what you do resonates with them in a good way, and we have done this in little bits here and there, you find yourself in situations where you're around people you would never expect to be around. You know, you see a diversity of people, from economically and socially and racially and all that stuff. You see a great bit of in little tiny slivers all the time for 12 years. And so when you see, like, you know, how much money some people have and how they like to use that money to foster music that they like, they're also people. So their tastes, their personal aesthetics are as arbitrary as yours and mine.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like, all right, cool. They're the ones with the money. Those are the people I got to play to.
But you don't have to, because they're not the only people on earth. Music and art is for people. So you have to give your stuff to people, and people will go, hey, that's good, or that's not resonating with me, or that's kind of resonating with me. And you just tune yourself slightly. You just tune your instrument to the strongest heartbeat and see what happens.
All right, so crazy question as an up-and-coming artist. What percentage of your individuality would you give up just to get that immediate return back from all the money you put into recording that music video, getting that studio time?
I don't even know what that means.
Well, I mean, like, what I will say is that, like, I have sort of dealt with the situation in the past, and I was asked to, like, change my history, and I don't want to say what was it did it, because it's just whatever. But, like, but asking me to make up a different backstory, that I'm like a waitress and not a working musician, because it's a better story, and then basically just sing a copy of, you know, Adele or whatever, because she was hitting really big at the time. And I did decline that, and it was a big time shot or whatever, because it's not who I am. You know, I'm a person who has, I have a unique history and conditioning as a human being that disallows me from participating in things that feel like there's little integrity or that they're dishonest. And as an artist, I don't want to be I don't want to be dishonest with people. And I feel like dishonesty is one of the biggest problems within the art that is mass marketed to people, especially poor people. Like you have pop country in Nashville that is rich people's children writing songs from the point of view of what they think poor people live like.
This is my rag to riches story.
So if it seems detached from real life, it's because it literally is. You know,
and it's real to begin with. So
yeah, and it's weird because country music in Nashville, it started out as like the first voice of poor people on the radio. It was their songs because that's who was playing it. And now you have like really wealthy people's children.
Or even people who are just tied into the industry on a professional level. And
right.
Their children,
but what I'm saying is that like wealthy people's children can buy a lot in the industry. They can buy press. They can buy festival spots. They can buy conference spots.
But that's a tool available to them, and a good worker does not
is
blame
that
his
gonna?
tools.
But is that kind of artistry? Is that kind of career really going to touch people's hearts?
Not at all.
Is it really going to make a
take up
lasting
time.
soul connection with people?
It's there to take up time on the radio.
Exactly.
You got your top 40.
Make some money. Put it in
If it's your one hit wonder, it's your one hit wonder.
Yeah.
But the idea is to create. I think artists should approach it more from like, I'm trying to create a legacy. I want to create something that like my kids will be like, damn, that's my dad's radio, like that's my dad's song still on the radio, still getting
But
played.
what if people don't ever play it on the radio? Then there's still an impetus and a reason as an artist to do the best that you possibly can, and to challenge yourself and to make the best possible art you can to make affecting art.
But the thing is, like, you do affect people, and those people come into your life, and they affect everyone in your life in a specific way.
Yeah, you want a radio hit? There's an article about it. It's over $1 million. You can buy it.
Or you can go and spread your network across the earth. You know, when I was in high school, I was sitting outside, and a teacher walked by, and he picks up a dime off the ground. He looks at me and goes, in America, there's money on the ground. All you have to do is pick it up. And he's right.
That's kind of how we feel about streaming.
He's right.
It's pennies, but they're everywhere. Pennies. Glorious pennies.
But you got to be real. You got to be yourself, because people got to trust you. And people got to believe that, you know, if you want to attract good people, and there are good people in the world, if you want to attract good people, you have to take that responsibility.
That you have an impact on their life.
Yeah.
And to not lose sight of that ever. Yeah. Because that, you know, we're fortunate that we've been able to find people who like our music. And and those relationships.
Y'all did it without taking shortcuts, where the new generation all about, if there's a shortcut.
What do you mean? No. What do you mean? I've been doing this since I was like a teenager. It's nothing but shortcuts.
All people see is the overnight success.
That's because they're blinded. There's no obstacle. You just have to die.
Thanks to social media, we don't get to see like the up and come. We don't get to hear the stories of the up and coming. We just see the highlight reel.
No. Never follow your dreams. You embrace your reality. You embrace it.
Put on the t-shirt.
That's right. You embrace it, and then you just cut the cord.
You just hit yourself right. Yeah, we get that. Like, we just hope you guys keep chasing your dreams. It's like, well, we're just living in reality at this point. There's really not like we're just trying to make a living and be happy and love each other and make art
and produce music that people like and music that means something to us. And we've seemed to have just stumbled on a way that. Good fortune has shown us how to do that, and the two of us, we've been living together for 12 years. I mean, our bodies are on cycles
living together
that are
for
so
14
subtle
years.
that, like, I
14
can't even, 14. I can't even begin to describe.
14 years.
We've been 14 years together.
We've been living together for 14
Oh, well, yeah,
years.
we've been
together for 15.
But then we've been in a van for 12.
Yes, we have been in a van for 12.
So, you know, it gets very intense. But then you start to experience, to experience reality on the subtlest level.
And all right, she is lighting the blunt, and now we get to move into topic number 2. We have been waiting this entire time for someone to light one of the blunts. Okay. Thank you. You guys, that was enough wisdom and knowledge to like do a series on. I forget that. Okay, so I've learned today that you guys have done 12 years, and I realized that from that is thank you.
It tastes
There
very
has come a lot of problems, heartache that we're not going to get too much into.
Not a ton of heartache as a result of the career stuff, because it's just
The
like
heartache was unavoidable.
yeah, the heartache was
It's
unavoidable.
not related to music. Music is our vehicle. It's our vehicle to liberation. It's been a gift, and we're very grateful for it.
It's like incense.
Yes.
It's like the time I went, they have these little things and they swing them around at the Tomb of Christ.
That's
I went
what I
there
was trying to
in
do.
Israel and they were swinging around these things with incense in the Tomb of Christ. And this woman, she cut in line in front of me to get into the Tomb of Christ. And the priest dude, he hit her with his little priest cane and he was like, no cutting for the Tomb of Christ. So just so you know, people will cut in line for the Tomb
People
of
come
Christ.
down.
Yeah.
Shame.
Well, you know what they say about
Shame.
spirits? They eat aroma. They eat aroma. Because scent is tied to memory.
They said I'm not allowed to make ass-eating jokes on camera, so it's gonna be
They eat the aroma.
aroma of what? Evil?
Just
No.
the aroma.
They just eat aromas. Whatever you're
Smells.
looking for. There's all kinds of spirits.
And
They're not all
immediately
bad.
They said I'm not
Why do
allowed
you
to
have
make
to go to the
ass-eating
bad
jokes on camera.
place?
So y'all are.
I mean, we can go to the bad place.
We're not allowed to make what jokes?
No, I'm not allowed to make ass-eating jokes on camera.
Oh, I
So you
didn't
said
know.
you said they go for the aroma.
I thought you
not
said
the ass.
ash.
Oh,
I thought
I
you said
would-
ash eating.
Oh.
I was like, that's a very strange request,
that's
but I
it.
will honor it.
Hash slinging.
Oh, ass eating. Oh, yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah, that's,
but
that's where
besides,
my age
I think
deceives me.
2015
It's just
was
like,
the year of the
whoa,
booty.
right over my head, Sonny. That was fantastic. That's what you kids, all you kids in your butt eat.
Thyroids are
Good
full,
Lord.
please.
Let me tell you about my butt. I have found.
Byrne, please. I really don't want to go into butt yoga right now. Like it's been a lot for me personally.
So before we find out why they call people Byrne,
Yeah, we'll find out.
let's go into.
He was fully gonna go into like a 20-minute diatribe about butt yoga. I'm so glad we're
I don't
skipping
know how
this.
commercials work. I never cut that out. Are you guys registered potheads?
No.
We're not registered. We
You
are
don't have your certificate?
no.
No?
Oh my goodness!
This is
It's a world.
CBD.
It's a world register for like pothead. I'm not talking about the one on the bus. I'm talking about y'all as smokers.
No.
We're not registered with any kind of
No.
authority.
I mean, it's like, we're because we are fortunate.
Thank God. So now I can interview you guys about cannabis.
yes.
So for your lovely fans, do y'all smoke?
It's a lonely road down into the consciousness of a human being, but we all got to do it, and I believe in you.
Help me. Give me some relationship advice. I'm not dating this person, nor do I want to. But just imagine I'm trying to
Feel
date
free
them.
to stop by if you can handle my energy.
Ooh,
Think fast.
Ow, boy, that wasn't fast enough, but
that
it did the job.
But it's called the Heads Up Pong Game, and they're like, how can we make it hotter in here? Oh, I know, black vinyl strapped to their heads. Oh, that would be awesome.
don't blame black.